Hello class, good morning. I'm here again to discuss the chapter 2 of our subject. Our topic is all about transaction processing. To start, our objectives for the chapter are as follows. Broad objectives of transaction cycles, types of transaction processed by each of the three transaction cycles. So later we will discuss about transaction cycles. Basic accounting records in the transaction processing, traditional accounting records and their magnetic equivalents, documentation techniques, batch and real-time processing, and the impact of these technologies on transaction processing. So first, what is a financial transaction? So in transaction processing, the financial transaction is being processed. That's why transaction processing. Okay. So first, what is a transaction or a financial transaction? Is an economic event that affects the assets and equities of the firm, is reflected in its accounts, and is measured in monetary terms. Okay. So economic event, may affects sa asset or liabilities and or equity. Similar types of transactions are grouped together into three transaction cycles. The first is the expenditure cycle, conversion cycle, and the revenue cycle. Okay. So the relationship between the three cycles: expenditure, conversion, and revenue. So in an expenditure class, it involves the purchasing, disbursement, because expenditure mo, expenses, payroll, while sa conversion, production, planning and control, cost accounting. Okay? Conversion because this is where the finished products or the raw materials is converted into finished products. That's why conversion. Revenue cycle, sales order, no? Sales, revenue, and cash receipts. Okay? So from customer, we sell our finished goods, convert them into cash, no? Flow into the revenue. Cash is being paid for the expenses, no? Payroll, fixed assets, disbursements are being paid for labor, materials, physical plant, and these are used in the conversion or manufacturing process. Okay? Production, cost accounting, finished goods, then back to revenue for sales or distribution. Okay? So, simple lang. Next, each cycle has two subsystems. In expenditure cycle, time lag between the two due to credit relations with suppliers. No? So, two subsystem, physical and financial. Okay? Physical acquisition of goods, financial the cash disbursement. Okay? Because class, not all payment to suppliers are in cash. So there is a time lag. So usually, businesses pay on credit. Usually 30 days, 15 days. Okay? So there's a time lag. Utang, kumbaga utang. Okay? Conversion cycle. Production system in the cost accounting system. So production, planning, scheduling, and control of physical product through the manufacturing process. While cost accounting, monitor the flow of cost information related to production. Because class, kada stage of production, there is cost relating to it. Okay? So, attributed to it. So, go po dit sila dua. Next, revenue cycle. The same with expenditure, physical and financial. There's a time lag also because not all sales are on cash. Actually, there are in credit man. Utang man kumbaga. So, AR, sales, di ba? So, not all are converted into cash immediately. Okay, next. Manual system accounting records. Source documents. Used to capture and formalize transaction data needed for transaction processing. Yung examples of source document class, invoice, OR, receiving report, delivery receipt, so and many more. Product documents, the result of transaction processing. Okay. Turnaround documents, a product document of one system that becomes a source document of another system. Now, simple example lang. Ang delivery receipt or OR ni supplier, abot na sa aton. So, product system na nila. Then, ang ila OR, start naman na sa aton nga transaction processing, kay mabayad naman ta sa ila. So, maging source document naman na on our part. Okay? So, supplier, kita, source product or source document turnaround document. Manual system accounting records, sorry. Journals, a record of chronological entry. No? Journals, familiar na kami class kay you have been through this. Special journals and general journals. Special journals, special classes occur in high frequency. Example, sales journal and purchase journal. General journal, non-recurring, infrequent, and dissimilar transactions. Ledger, a book of financial accounts. No? Two types, GL and SL. GL shows activity for each account listed in the chart of accounts. So, ano ba chart of accounts? The list of all accounts. Right? So, while SL shows activity by detail for each account type. Usually, may SF plus, AR, AP, no? Because this, the recur man siya mo. So, and ang bulk of transactions, damo, bulky, katama. Okay, flow of economic events into the GL. Customer order, sales order, then entry sa journal, then post sa AR, SL, then sales journal to GL. Dapat last ma-reconcile ang GL kag SL sa AR. Okay? So, accounting records in a computer-based system. So, your class, the explanation on the side. So, let's go na lang sa flowchart. So, sa source document nga, sales order or SO, iki, kato sa transaction file, update, okay. Then sa master file, then pagka-order, may AR ka, may debit, AR credit sales mo. Then, ang inventory subsidiary, because ang gibaligya mo, ibawas mo man sa inventory, kinabaligya na. Okay? Then, ang balances ng the class, SL to GL, makadto sa balance sheet, AR. Okay? So, may audit trail man siya class. So, from balance sheet to GL to SL to journal, back to sales order. Or sales order to journal, to ARSL, to GL, then to balance sheet. Either way. Okay? Simple lang. Next, audit trail. So, here the audit trail. So, source document to journal to GL to financial statements. So, class, ang dili nga direction, this is called tracing. Tracing class in audit. Okay, while from financial statements or opposite sine, financial statement to GL to journal to source document is called vouching. Vouching. I-vouch mo ang amounts from the FS down to its source documents. Content should be able to trace in both directions. Sampling and confirmation are two common techniques. So, example of tracing an audit trail, verify accounts receivable. So, control account sa GL, SL, dapat reconciled. Then, from sales journal, sales order, shipping notice, cash receipts journal, deposit slip, and or remittance advice. Remittance advice class, another term for OR, official receipt. Next, computer-based systems. So, in manual systems, different from computer-based systems, especially the audit trail. Audit trail is less observable in computer-based systems than traditional manual systems. Data entry in computer programs are the physical trail. The data are stored in magnetic fields. Okay, computer files. Master file generally contains account data. Example, GL and SL. Transaction file. Temporary file containing transaction since the last update. Temporary file, transaction file. Okay. Reference file containing relatively constant information used in processing. Example, tax tables, customer addresses. So the information regarding its customers, no? Address, telephone number, no? Etc. Archive file contains past transactions for reference purposes. Archive. Let's go sa documentation techniques. Okay? Documentation in a computer-based environment is necessary for many reasons. 5 common documentation techniques. So 5 plus. Entity relationship diagram, data flow diagrams, document flow charts, system flow charts, and program flow charts. So entity relationship diagram is a documentation technique to represent the relationship between entities in a system. The REA model version of ERD is widely used in AIS. So REA, resources, events, and agents. Resources, cash, raw materials, events, release of raw materials into production, agents, the inventory clerk, vendor, or production worker. Cardinalities represent the numerical mapping between entities. Like for example, one to many, one to one, one to many, many to many. Okay. For example, one to one. One salesperson per car type. Okay. One to many. One customer, many orders. Vendor. Many to many. Many vendors, many inventories. Okay. Cardinalities. Simple lang pas. Let's go sa data flow diagrams, DFD. Use symbols to represent the processes, data sources, data flows, and entities in a system. Represent logical elements of the system. Do not represent physical system. Okay, data flow diagram symbols.